believe me, just watch.
We're back on the Morning Brew with friends, and I love this. You were just saying that you recognize our buddy Andrew Connors.
Yeah, he's
from
a
the
great guy.
There. Yes.
He's a gem, for sure.
He's doing a great job at the Albuquerque Museum.
Yep.
He's the curator there. But you guys got to curate a very fun show, a very serious show too. At the it's at the Holocaust and Intolerance Museum of New Mexico, which is here at 6th and Central. And tell us a little bit about the show.
For sure. We saw it as a kind of a potential for a community outreach program. And by asking artists to come in from different ethnicities within Albuquerque, with different identities within the community, and create art exhibits that ask people actually from their own communities to start working together and using the museum in a way where everybody can utilize it in a way that would really be able to have certain talking points about whatever their identity is.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, in the Holocaust is something that we hear about in Albuquerque, but it doesn't really touch a lot of us, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's a chance for us to talk about intolerance and what that means going forward, right? Mm-hmm. And Lenny, you brought a book here, and this is a little bit about some of the art that you brought to the show. Is that right?
Well, this exhibition and our community outreach project has actually an historical basis. And that is in this idea of, as the exhibit is called, aesthetic empathy,
right.
Which is a very early idea from.
And we have some photos here of the museum.
Yeah, and so it's based in the work of an early artist, Friedel Dicker Brandeis, who taught art to children in the Terezin concentration camp.
Wow.
And she taught art using this process based in aesthetic empathy, which was a way to help kids deal with their daily difficulties and
wow, that's intense.
To survive the war psychologically.
That is intense. Did it help those survivors? Was this one of the things that they look back on as something that helped them get through the difficult times?
Yeah, but they talk about how it wasn't just making the art, it was who she was. Oh. And that she really gave them something for their whole life, mm-hmm. that they could do something with their life. Right.
How did you find out about her? Her name doesn't ring a bell with me, so how did you come to find out about Friedel Dicker Brandeis?
Yeah. Well, I'm an art therapist and an art educator, and I kind of work in the in-between space. And she did that as well. Mm-hmm. Her students say that she was the first art therapist.
Oh, very cool.
Because they were so deeply touched by her and her helping them make art as and about their own experiences.
Very cool. So did you bring that to the students in Albuquerque?
Yes, and we collaborated with a bunch of different schools, from the Bosque School, Amy Beal. I teach at Ace Leadership High School. We used our Fab Lab to create the signs and things like that. Also, people from Working Classroom were involved with it. So we tried to reach as many people as we could. We probably saw 300 to 400 kids. And then what we did was, taking all that work, we then suspended it all from the ceiling as a kind of like cloud, right? Because a lot of these kids are, between 4 and 15 years old or so. So we had to hang some low, so they can recognize their own work. And then linearly, we run the exhibition, which Linny, she didn't mention this, but she did a Fulbright on this. This is really how it came out.
Oh, okay.
So she spent a year going to Czechoslovakia and to Israel, meetings with some of the survivors who had lived in Terezin and had worked with Friedel Dicker Brandeis. So we wanted to tell the story of Friedel Dicker Brandeis in a way where it isn't harping on the Holocaust aspect of it, but really her story of her life. And then on top of it, we have the layers of the work of the children here.
What did the kids here paint about? What were they? I can only imagine what some of them might. But.
Again, we never know what's going on for kids.
No.
And that's what art can do,
right.
is let them work through and with what's going on for them,
right.
without having to use words, without having to talk to us even.
Right.
And so we as we used this process that Frieda Licker-Brandeis used to teach her kids in Terezin, and it's a studies approach, and so there are different areas. She taught them color study, how to make portraits, how to study plants. She wanted them to teach them to see and render,
cool.
and,
so what
and to
the
have
kids
personal
here end up doing?
experience. Exactly that.
Exactly
We had a table for plant study, a table for materials study where they could make collages, tables for free art, and we have kids move around, and so that they are able to experience these different studies areas and the experiences of what is it like to look closely and actually with what's familiar, just a plant or a stick or a blossom, and spend time with that.
Sounds great. Well, the new show, it's open now at the Holocaust and Intolerance Museum of New Mexico on 616 Central, right next door to the launch pad downtown.
Yep, it's next to
and
the launch
that's
pad.
how I think most of us know it.
Right.
But the show is open through August 20th. And it's
April 20th.
April 20th, I'm sorry. But it is it's free. Get on down there.
And also, we're actually going to be doing some more workshops. So we're going to do the first Sundays of each month up until April, and then there's going to be a lecture, the Fulbright lecture that's how we met, Linny. That's going to be done probably in April, I think.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys there. We're back in a couple of seconds with my buddy Augustine and Roshing with their new show also at the South Broadway on the Morning Brew with Friends.